Welcome. My name is Marilee Burnett. I am your astrologer, back with the messages for the week of April 15th, 2024. And it promises to be a really surprising week ahead. We have lots to go through. So before we get started though, if you're new to my channel, thank you for joining us today, and please consider subscribing and coming back every week as I provide an astro lesson as well as tarot card readings. So those are out there already for this week that you can go check out right after you watch this video if you didn't happen to watch it first. I love your comments. Of course, would love it if you share my work with somebody else that you think would benefit from it. And most importantly, I'd love it if you would come work with me. So there are links down below. I do, of course, astrology, tarot, as well as hypnotherapy. And I really actually like to combine all of them. So I think I'm a little bit unique and you might appreciate working with me. All right. With that, we have lots to go through. And so if you ever feel like you are overwhelmed with the information, it's too much all at once, you can go to my website. I have all of the articles out there through July, I think at this point, and that is all the monthly horoscopes with the key points of each day of the month called out, as well as the new moons and the full moon articles. So you can really get prepared for the next several months. And then these lessons are just reminders of what you've already covered. Of course, you'll want to subscribe to my website so that I can mail those out to you easily so that you don't have to go search and find them as well. Okay, for real, let's get started and let's take a look at Monday. Now, Monday on the 15th, it's tax day, so don't forget to file your taxes or file that extension. But it's also a really big day because we are activating the eclipse point with a conjunction between Chiron and Mercury, which of course is in retrograde. Mercury was last here about the 17th of March, activating this space. So this may be the third time that something is coming up for you to pay attention to let go of, to eclipse out of your life. Now, this could have something to do with healing because of the fact that Mercury is speaking to Chiron. There could be surgery that's necessary. There could be some habit that you need to let go of because it's really unhealthy for you. Mercury will bring you the people, the information, and the directions on what it is that you need to do to heal. Now, this can bring something or someone back up from the past. Of course, that's going to depend on what's been showing up for you so far, but because Mercury is in retrograde, this is definitely related to the past. It can be the recent past or it can be a while ago. And of course, this has everything to do with what your eclipse story has been so far. So what's been showing up for you? Is there anything that you've been avoiding or trying not to deal with? Well, you're going to have to face it, and you'll get one more chance when Mercury moves forward after the 25th of this month and will hit this eclipse spot one more time. That should be your final moment to let go of whatever it is that you're trying to hang on to. And trust me, it's much better if you let it go. All right, another important point, and this is going to be energy that's with us all week, is this in conjunction, this green line, this odd angle that the South Node, our karma, our lessons, the things that we're moving away from and letting go of, is being activated by a connection to Saturn, which also has those very similar themes. What is it that you need to learn? What instructions has Saturn been giving you? Are you following them? It's a matter of time now, and it's a matter of settling your karmic debt. Now, that karmic debt could have something to do with relationships because it's in Libra, could have something to do with the law, again, because Libra has to do with justice, has to do with commitments and balance and fairness. So whatever it is, it isn't coming up in an ordinary way. It is odd. It may come through the side door and you didn't see it coming, But whatever the lesson is, now's the time to show up and learn it. And definitely let go of anything that is keeping you from, your spiritual path with this Pisces energy, from a balanced path. The story's unique for you depending on where this shows up. But this is just kind of the beginning of the story. It's going to unfold because both of these points in your chart, these planets, this nodal point, they move slowly. And so you have time to see this completely unfold, but you absolutely want to be paying attention and be aware of it. Now, we do have some more supporting energy with the moon strong in its home sign of Cancer, speaking in harmony with Neptune. So those are both very intuitive, emotional energies. So pay attention to how you're feeling Monday and let your body be your guide on what is showing up for you, what you need to learn, what you need to heal, what you need to let go of. And it's only Monday. All right, so let's move on. We're actually going to skip forward to Wednesday because that's our next impactful day that is happening. This is why I say this is a really surprising week, because we have Jupiter, planet of growth and expansion. Jupiter's a wise teacher, much gentler teacher than Saturn, but still there are lessons to learn here. They can be about our finances because this is in the sign of Taurus. They can be about love and beauty. It can be about material things. And with its conjunction to Uranus, the planet of surprise and freedom and innovation, well, Jupiter expands on whatever it touches. This also can be shaking up the earth because Uranus is like a lightning bolt to the ground, which Taurus, of course, is an earth energy. So there can be all kinds of surprising shakeups this week. It's a good week to be very cautious. If you're investing anything, if you're over invested, you would want to maybe pull back just a bit right now. Just don't invest more than you can afford to lose in a short window of time. Jupiter, though, again, is benefic. It's something that benefits you, but you're going to have to trust that whatever is shaken up for you, wherever you're shaken out of your tower, this energy always makes me think of the tower card in tarot. You need to move on for a reason, and there is great big doors of opportunity that will open up. And then for some, you're just literally going to be handed those surprising financial opportunities, growth opportunities. It is going to come out of left field, completely unexpected. And this is with us again, like the Saturn and the karma of the South Node this whole week. So be prepared to expect the unexpected, change swiftly, change directions quickly, drive very carefully, stay very aware of your surroundings, and be excited, right? Whatever opportunity shows up for you, there's a huge reason for it. There's a huge lesson behind it. And it's not time for doubting or questioning. It is time for getting in the flow and, trusting the process. But this is going to surprise the collective as well all this week as we see this energy between Jupiter and Uranus come closer and closer together this entire week, as I mentioned, and then it stays close a good 10 days. I think it stays close until Mercury ends its retrograde. So you might even only see the tip of the iceberg, and there's much, much more to uncover as this week unfolds too. So growth, surprises, what are you hoping to do and to accomplish? Now's the time to take advantage of whatever is trying to show up for you. Now, with the moon squaring this point, it could be a very emotional surprise on Wednesday. A lot of drama. But something has to change too because of the fact that this is a square. All right. Then we have Venus, planet of love and beauty, exactly conjunct to the North Node. So there is, again, something about our personal finances, our personal beauty, something that we love, self-love, women and their power, and something about balancing our individual needs against the collective needs. This is that opposition to that South Node, which of course is having that odd conversation with Saturn. So this is a big topic. Of course, in the US, we're talking a lot about abortion rights, no matter what side of the coin you are on. For this story, we may see more of that storyline unfolding. We may see women in a position of authority. Their sexuality may come up. There may be lessons about following our strong individual path. These are fated lessons in love and money and beauty and independence and women and their power. So again, what an exciting week we have in store for ourselves. All right, let's move on and talk next about Friday. And you'll notice as I'm moving us through, connections are staying strong. Oppositions remain between always the North and the South Node. And as we get here to Friday, now you're noticing that we've got a conversation that's going on between Mercury and Venus. So this is, loving conversations. This is conversations with lovers from the past, fated ones, right? As we sit across the sky from that South Node in Libra as well. So conversations with women, information involving women, those will all be really important on Friday. The other nice thing about Friday is we have the sun moving into Taurus. Taurus, of course, is ruled by Venus. So things get, I like to call Taurus energy warm and gooey, right? It's where we go for indulgences. It may be the sun shining a light on what this surprise energy is, right? Because wherever the sun goes, it's shining a light on that sign and on that area of our chart. And so here in Taurus, the things that Venus rules over, definitely a big financial impact as the sun moves into this sign. It can have something to do with love, again, beauty, money, and our self-worth, right? What are your valuables, right? What are you spending time investing in? These are the topics over the next month as the sun moves into Taurus. And Taurus is slower and more grounded, right, as an earth sign compared to how things have felt, which is literally on fire, while we had all of that energy and an eclipse in the sign of Aries. Well, now things may start to slow down a bit as we get in touch with our more earthy, grounded energy and look forward to slowing things down, right? Not like that's going to happen right away, however, it may develop over the whole month because of the fact here we have Mars in Pisces, and it is sextile to whatever this big surprise is. So now Mercury comes in, talking with Venus, ruler over this energy here that's surprising us. And then Mars adds its energy, its gasoline, its need to take some kind of action. And the action you take may surprise you. The action other people take may surprise you. It's a sextile, which is a 60-degree connection, which can be a little bit more subtle, but there's not going to be anything subtle about whatever the surprise energy is, and Jupiter will expand on Mars's energy. So this means be careful with water, around water. We could see some surprise movement as far as you think about countries and water and war. I'm thinking of Taiwan. There just could be, again, something shocking and surprising, and again, more earthquakes along those coastal towns because of these connections as well. So that, again, this week, we'll talk about it next week and see how everything unfolds compared to how it looks on paper. I just think we can't even imagine what that's actually going to be like this week. Now, it's good, right? We got to move on, but how we do so might just be the biggest shock ever. All right, let's talk about Saturday briefly, but that energy between Jupiter and Uranus now will be exact. So it can be that when something is exact is when we actually see whatever the event is. And as these planets moved closer and closer to the same degree, it was just building intention. And now this is the big moment, the big aha, the big whatever the surprise is. So this could be finally the moment where we see what this is all about in our lives and in the collective, or we've been seeing it, and then this is just the cherry on top of whatever is going to show up and surprise us this week. So that is our big moment on Saturday. And then as we finish the week, we have another exact conversation with Chiron. Now you'll notice Chiron has moved off of the eclipse point. Chiron's now at the 20 degrees, and it's having a loving, healing conversation with Venus. So both of those are at 20 degrees. And the number 2 in numerology is about balance, relating to one another. And so it could be some conversation is needed because of all of the surprises. Maybe there's a woman who is ill that is a surprise. There can be women who speak up about healing. So it's a very interesting energy and interesting day. Now, it's also rather explosive because of the fact that we have the sun sitting here at 2 degrees of Taurus in a square with Pluto. So this is energy that, again, you should always be really cautious because Pluto is death and transformation. The sun is explosive, right? It's a very it's what gives us life, right? So there is something major that is about to be transformed, and in a somewhat difficult way. So we have the sun square with Pluto several times as it moves around the zodiac. But you'll notice that tempers may flare. You may feel, I always call it crunchy yourself. So I myself put myself in a timeout when I feel that way so that I don't bite somebody's head off just because I'm feeling into the energy and it's unsettling and it's uncomfortable. But the thing about square energy, and especially about the ego self, is, this is a time to break free of situations where you feel powerless and change that around. So you have a big opportunity to do that this weekend. It doesn't always have to be, a difficult explosion, right? This can be an explosion that helps you break free, which again is the theme. You'll also notice on Sunday that Jupiter is going to take a little step away from Uranus. But as we get into next week, you'll see that they'll continue to be speaking together in harmony, and Uranus is just a half a step behind Jupiter for a day or two. So lean in on Sunday to, being loving, especially loving yourself with this Aries energy, and let that help guide you. You're also going to notice that Mercury is, again, starting to have conversations that are faded, and this is basically where Mercury started its retrograde on April 1st. So these next several days into next week, Mercury's going to start slowing down and start having those faded conversations with the North Node guiding you with the information that you need to move forward, and the South Node showing you what you should be letting go of in order to follow your destined path. And you'll notice, as I mentioned, Saturn's still in conjunct to that South Node this whole week. stirring up the past, stirring up injustices. So it is a powerful, amazing, interesting week that we really want to show up and participate with, and not just sit back and get surprised, right? So how do you want to surprise yourself this week? I always suggest that you set intentions to work with what you have. So where do you feel stuck? Where do you feel stagnant? That would be a really good area to point this energy towards. And then, of course, if you know where you have Taurus in your chart, then that will help you see what is going to create breakthroughs for you in the week ahead. All right. So that is the entire week. If you want to know more, of course, come book a session with me and we can dive deep. The other thing that I'll tell you about Jupiter energy is every 12 years, Jupiter completes a cycle. So that means it was 12 years ago in 2012 that you had Taurus energy with Jupiter in it and making changes, providing growth opportunities to you. So what were those? What was showing up? Because as one 12-year cycle ends, a new one begins. So if you happen to have planets around the 22, I'd say 20 to 24 degrees of Taurus, something was being activated back in 2012. It's being activated again. So do you want to repeat the lessons of the last 12 years, or are you ready to level up your game and do the growing work that you're supposed to do as you work with these big hitter planets? Every planet is activated this week in a pretty big way. And as the week ends, you'll see that the moon is going to cozy up with the south node as well. So there's a big emotional letting go on Sunday. So definitely give me your comments and your feedback. Keep me posted, because I want to hear how this week is showing up for each one of you as well. And of course, I'll have links down below to all my websites and articles and how to book a session with me. But really, thank you for showing up, sharing your time with me, and I look forward to coming back together next week and talking about what's coming up next. All right, guys, thanks for tuning in, and we'll talk again soon.